In a quiet forest village, tucked between tall trees and soft winds, there lived a kind soul. She was known only as the healer, gentle, giving, always saying yes, yes to help, yes to heal, yes to hold what others could not. Her cottage was always open. Children came to her with cuts, mothers with worry, fathers with silence. And every time, the healer said yes. Absolutely, I'm here to listen. I'll fix it, no doubt. I'll carry what you can't handle. The villagers spoke of her in hushed tones, their eyes filled with reverence. They said her hands could mend broken bones, and her words could soothe troubled hearts. From dawn to dusk, a steady stream of people knocked on her door, each bearing their own burdens, their own pain. And the healer, with her soft smile and warm eyes, welcomed them all. She brewed teas for coughs, applied salves to wounds, and whispered encouragement to those who had lost hope. Her days were a blur of faces, ailments, and whispered thanks. But as the seasons passed, something inside her began to fade. Her eyes no longer lit up, her steps grew slower, and her dreams, once vivid, turned pale and silent. She kept that beautiful smile on her face and just said yes, you know. At night, she felt them, not monsters, not ghosts, but memories. Shadows of herself kneeling beside a friend too sick to speak, cradling a child while her own body shook from exhaustion, nodding with a smile while her spirit screamed for rest. They didn't speak. They simply stood with her, watched her, and in their silence, she heard the truth she had long ignored. She was not just tired. She was disappearing. The weight of countless sorrows pressed upon her shoulders. The echoes of 1,000 pains reverberated in her chest. She had become a vessel for the village's collective suffering, and that vessel was slowly cracking. One night, as the moon hung low and full in the sky, the healer found herself unable to sleep. The memories pressed closer, their silent presence suffocating. Without a word, she slipped out of her cottage and into the cool night air. Drawn by something she couldn't name, she followed the sound of water until she found herself by a wide, slow-moving river. There, in the moonlight, stood a hooded figure, silent, still. "You carry what was never yours to carry," they said. The healer blinked, clearly confused. "Wait, what do you mean by that?" "You carry the weight of every life you've touched, every burden you've absorbed, every yes you gave when you meant to say no." The figure's words struck her like a physical blow. She stumbled, suddenly aware of the immense weight she had been carrying for so long. The figure stepped closer and placed a small pouch in her hands. Inside smooth, colored stones. "Memory stones," they said. "Each one holds a piece of what you took on, but never needed to." The healer stared at the stones, feeling their cool weight in her palm. Each one seemed to pulse with a memory, a moment when she had taken on more than she should have. Take a stone, remember the moment, then throw it into the river. Let the current carry it, not as rejection, but as release. The healer hesitated, biting their lip. "But if I let go, will I forget who really needs me, you know?" The figure's voice softened, almost like a gentle whisper. "No way. You will always remember who you truly are." So she knelt by the riverbank. She held the first stone, a memory of treating someone when she herself had a fever. She breathed out and let it go. Saying yes to a guy's request while her mom was on her deathbed? That one really hit hard. She just let that moment slip away, too. With every stone she cast, her shoulders relaxed. Her breath deepened. The river shimmered. She didn't cry. She exhaled. And in that silence, she felt it a flicker of her own light, returning. As the night wore on, the healer continued her ritual. Each stone represented a moment when she had sacrificed her own well-being for others. A time when she had said yes, when her heart whispered no. With each release, she felt lighter, freer. The moon began to set, as she cast the last stone into the river. She stood, feeling the cool grass beneath her feet, the gentle breeze on her face. For the first time in years, she felt truly present in her own body. The next morning, she returned to the village. Something was different. Her step was lighter, her silence more grounded. Then a young man ran to her, panicked. "Healer, my sister is sick, please." She followed, of course, but something in her had shifted. She knelt beside the child, checked her energy, and said, "She be fine. But she needs time, and you need to sit with her, not just bring her to me." The boy stared, surprised. She smiled and handed him a warm compress. "Begin here." Later that day, a young girl approached the healer under the willow tree. "Healer, why didn't you save the birds?" "Wait, are you talking about the birds? Like, what's the deal with them? The ones that flew into the power lines. You could have helped them. You have powers." The healer looked out at the trees. "I could have," she said softly. "But sometimes, life must unfold, even when it brings pain." The girl frowned and crossed her arms. "That doesn't sound very nice, you know." The healer nodded. "It's the kind of kindness that trusts the world to grow through difficulty." From that day forward, the villagers noticed something. She still helped, still healed, but she no longer said yes by default. She paused. She chose. Her yes became sacred, and her no turned into something truly powerful, you know. One day, an elder woman asked, "Why do you say no now?" The healer smiled. "Because I've learned that when I protect my light, I shine brighter for everyone." The village began to change. People started to take more responsibility for their own healing, their own growth. They learned to sit with their pain, to find strength in their struggles. And when they truly needed help, the healer's yes meant so much more. Weeks later, she returned to the river one last time. The pouch was almost empty. Only 3 stones remained. She sat in silence. No more sadness, no more guilt, only gratitude. She placed 1 stone in the water for her past, 1 for her future, and 1 for her truth. And as the current carried them away, she whispered, "I remember who I am." To all the kind souls out there who forgot how to say no, this one's for you. You know what I mean, right? You are not selfish for choosing yourself. You are sacred. You cannot save the world if you are burning inside. Let go of what was never yours. Keep only the light that is. For when you choose yourself, you teach others to do the same. And that is the truest kind of healing. In the quiet forest village, the healer continued her work. But now, her cottage was not just a place of healing, but a sanctuary of balance. People came not just for cures, but for wisdom. They learned that healing was not just about fixing what was broken, but nurturing what was whole. In the soft breeze rustling through the trees and the gentle river flow, a message whispers. Remember who you are. Remember your light. That's how we all find our way home.